Okay, Val.
Lovely. Thank you so much for joining us here on Bank Holiday Monday, the 25th of August. And we are just going to give you a little presentation on something absolutely remarkable. This is new technology that many people haven't heard of yet. It's something totally amazing, totally new, and we're just trying to get the word out there so people know about this because we're a little bit of a disruptor against big pharma, if you like, with the natural healing here. And this is something that is totally amazing. We hope you'll enjoy this presentation, and we'll have a little Q&A afterwards. I say I'm Val Deal. I'll be taking you through the first half of the presentation. Then we'll have a little testimonial section in the middle, and then
Oh, I think Val's gone. Okay, guys, I think she'll sign back in a moment. I'm going to start the video and then we'll see if Val rejoins us shortly. Oh, no.
Light, an ancient form of energy that goes back to the dawn of time. For us, it all begins with the sun, the source of light and life for our entire solar system. Even Einstein concluded that everything we're made of contains light. All life originates with the sun through photosynthesis. Plants and vegetation collect the light, and all living creatures emit light. Humans actually emit infrared light, which can be seen with night vision devices. We've known for centuries that light has many effects on the body. Lifewave's phototherapy patches use light that can promote a general state of health and healthy activity unique to each Lifewave patch. Here's how the technology works. First, a patch is applied to specific points on the body. Where the patch covers the skin, infrared energy emitted from the body is reflected back into the body and then taps into the body's own natural flow of energy. Lifewave phototherapy patches promote an environment that enables the body to optimize its restorative energy and enhances your ability to live well without the use of harmful drugs or chemicals. To find out more, contact your distributor. Lifewave. Live long. Live well.
And there we have it. So I'm back on. I briefly got chucked off, but I'm back on again. I love technology. And I'm glad to say tonight that Jules is pressing the buttons. So the first question we're going to ask is, have you been patched yet? And many of us on the call have. And so some of us haven't. So the patches will activate or elevate, activate, and regenerate your body in ways that you didn't know that could be done. So it's something totally new, and we're going to tell you all about it tonight. But the first thing I'm going to say is Lifewave is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition. We do see, however, coincidentally, when people get these patches on, the most remarkable things happen. But obviously, we are not medical professionals, and this is not drugs, chemicals, or anything of the like. It is totally natural. And we can't talk about these amazing patches without talking about the inventor, and this is David Schmidt. Now, he is also the CEO of the company, and he invented quite a few things, including the X39 patch that we're talking about tonight. He has over 200 patents personally held by him. He's a scientist and inventor. He's not a medical doctor, but he does have a PhD in human biology. And he is one of the world's leading specialists in age reversing. Yes, age reversing, not anti-aging, different thing. And back in 2008, David focused his attention on stem cell research, which was the buzzword of the time. He's always looking at things 10, 20 years in advance of when we're going to need them. And the patent for this particular product took some 10 years and $4.5 million to bring to the market. So patented technology, you will find that on thisisit.info.com, you see that little website, we'll mention that again later. You'll find all the clinical studies to support the patents. And this patent was actually taken out in 2020. Now, patents last for 20 years. So you actually realise, doing a little bit of quick maths, we've got another 15 years to run on this patent before anybody else can use this technology. So you can only get it direct from Lifewave. And you will see here that among the things that it says in the patent, This phototherapy patch placed on a human body, for example, some embodiments as a result of elevating copper peptide, including activation of stem cells, improvements in energy, elevation of antioxidants, reduction in inflammation, management of pain, improvements in stamina, and elevation of collagen production and improved wound healing. That's just a few things there that are listed. There are many, many more indeed. And the next question is, why are stem cells important? Why is everyone banging on about stem cells? Well, they're able to make more cells like themselves, so they're pluripotent. That is, they self-renew. And also, they can become other cells that do different things in the body in a process known as differentiation. So, for example, they can become your skin, they can become kidney, heart cells, lung cells, just about anything, you name it. And they go around the body doing the maintenance as well as repair after injury. So, stem cells are really, really useful. Why the X39 patch then? Well, the fewer stem cells you have, the faster you age and the slower you heal. Now, hundreds of millions of people are experiencing symptoms of aging. And by the age 30, only half of your stem cells are still active. So when you're born, you're a little baby, all these billions of stem cells whiz down the umbilical cord and they build the baby into, when it's born, into a full-grown adult. These stem cells become various parts of the body and they are the building blocks. And then when you reach maturity, somewhere around your mid-20s, generally, although some men, I have to say, maybe rather longer. But when you reach maturity, your stem cells start to switch off and go dormant. And by the time you get to 60, that'll be me, last year, most of your stem cells are actually dormant. So over 90% of them aren't working anymore. Quite simply, they've gone for a bit of a big nap. So the X39, how does it work? It's a proprietary form of phototherapy, patented nanocrystal technology. A lot of big words going on there. Basically, what it means is phototherapy, it works on light. And patented nanocrystal technology means that they're very, very tiny, tiny crystals. The crystals form a lattice. It's like a little mirror. Think of microscopic sized mirrors, and they're reflecting light from your body. Now, all bodies emit infrared light and heat. So if you've ever seen the infrared cameras on the police chases from the helicopters, the people aren't running around with no clothes on. Light does travel through clothing, but these little patches, they reflect a portion of that light, just a small part of the spectrum back into the body, and that gives it a signal to get on and do some healing. Now that means it's totally non-transdermal. It's only light. There's no drugs or chemicals or stimulants go into your body, just your body's own light that literally just came out of your body. So it's totally non-invasive. The benefits of the X39 when we put these patches on are absolutely huge, but here's just a few of them. One of the first ones people tend to notice is greater mental clarity. It's like someone switches a light switch on. Increased strength is another big one. Reduced inflammation. Most diseases and aging and problems with the joints are all around inflammation. Restored muscle or skeletal conditions. Improvement of sleep. Now, that's a big one for many, many people. Increased stamina. Many people report that one. Energy and vitality. Much better energy and vitality. And improved skin appearance. This is often one that other people notice first and start telling you, wow, what are you doing? Your skin looks amazing. So we're looking for something that's going to give us basically, it's going to help us achieve an optimal health, a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being. A word that actually covers all of that is homeostasis. It's going to make your body work really, really well. So the long-term results of wearing these patches, as per case studies on thisisitinfo.com. Once again, that website comes up. In the first few days, over 4,000 genes in your body begin to reset to a younger state. And then within 6 weeks, your brain will become more balanced. The brain fog, or fug as my mother calls it, will start to disappear, and you'll notice your concentration is better, and your thought processes are much, much better. And within 3 months, this starts to get really good fun. By the time we get to 3 months, your collagen is increased. Now, many people take collagen supplements these days, but can you imagine turning on your body's own collagen once again? Much, much more powerful, because collagen is actually the most prevalent protein in your entire body. It's in your muscles, your organs, all kinds of places, not just your skin, your hair, and your nails. So if you can wake up your collagen, the elastic part of your body, if you like, it's the bit that keeps you pliable and young looking. Wake that up and your whole body works a lot better. And therefore, by the time you get to 6 months, your heart, the big muscle in the middle that pumps the red stuff round, that can be shown to reverse in age by up to 8 years. So up to 8 years more out of your heart. Can you imagine that? And in the words of David Schmidt, it's not anti-aging, it's age reversing. And of course, he should know, he's the inventor. So here, if you like things presented in colour, is a topography map. And this is actually from the brain of a 77-year-old lady who was a participant in a study, and she had the X39 patch placed on the back of her neck. Now, the first picture on the left here in session 1, she hadn't had the patch on yet. And you can see there's a lot of red and orange colours there, a lot of hot colours, inflammation in her brain, and she was demonstrating a lack of brain coherence. She was quite confused. She then had the patch put on, and they did the topography scan again 3 weeks later, when she'd been wearing the patch on the back of her neck daily. And you can see all those colours have calmed down really, really quickly. And she had much better brain coherence. And this carried on into session 3, some 6 weeks of wearing the patch. She'd had a complete turnaround by this time, much better brain coherence. So it can be noted that when she came in, her brain was actually hyperactive, and it calmed down dramatically by the second visit after 3 weeks of patching, and stayed calm after wearing the patch for some 6 weeks. That is a huge result. Now, another way of presenting inflammation, you can see here, again, on the left-hand side, someone with quite a lot of back and shoulder pain, and then putting the patches on, that inflammation reduces enormously. And that does look very painful with the red areas, the hot areas at the top there. And you can see how much better that is. And on the right-hand side, this is someone with very painful thumb joints and quite a lot of inflammation in their hands. And literally within 30 minutes of putting the patches on, you see how those colours have cooled down and everything's feeling a lot better. That's a very fast result, 30 minutes. And some other things that happen when we put patches on, and it's not just the guys. There's a lot of ladies out there that, especially around that certain age, the menopause time, hair can get thin, can get patchy, or other causes sometimes. And obviously, a lot of men do suffer with male pattern baldness and going grey. But a lot of people do find that the hair not only gets thicker and starts to grow back, but also it can return to an earlier pigment, which is absolutely fantastic. And I know I've actually got family members who've spent absolute fortunes trying to get their hair back before this, and they can't believe it. Absolutely amazing. And then athletes like to wear these patches as well because there's no drugs. So it's totally safe for them to wear within competitive sport. And then you'll see here on the left-hand side, Michael Phelps actually won the Olympic gold back in 2004 wearing the Energy Enhancer patches. This was the first patch or set of patches that David Schmidt actually developed. He actually developed that for the Navy SEALs. He was working with the US government, and these found their way into sport, shall we say. And David then had to go before the Olympic Committee to prove that there was no drugs involved and the team weren't doping, and they were allowed to keep their medals. You see there, Sean May, who's an NBA guy. He absolutely loves the energy enhancer. Some of you may have heard of a guy called David Beckham who used to play a bit of football. And then we've got Lorenzo Salvadori. He actually loves his X39 patch because it really helps with his mental clarity. If you're whizzing around on a motorbike, 2 wheels at very high speeds, you've got to have split decision thinking there. You need to be switched on. So he finds that his X39 really helps with his decision making during his racing. So how do we wear this little X39? We don't all wear it like Lorenzo in the middle of our forehead. You'd see an awful lot of people wearing them if you did, but some of us prefer to wear them on either the nape of our neck or 2 fingers below the navel. And these are the 2 spots where they were actually worn for testing. But you can actually wear them pretty much anywhere on your body. And you wear your patch for 12 hours on and 12 hours off to repair and rejuvenate. And the reason you don't wear them for 24 hours at a time is that we don't want to have what's called attenuation. And that's when your body would get it would just stop listening to the signal. It would kind of like, I'm not listening to you now, you're just background noise. So we wear them for 12 hours on, 12 hours off, and that lets your body heal and have a little rest, and then you get going again the next day. And then the next day, you can either throw that patch away or you can put it on your animals. Some people even put them on their plants. The next day, you then put a fresh patch on and repeat the process. You can wear more than one patch at a time. We don't recommend you need more than one X39 patch, but we have, you saw the little video at the beginning, there are other patches that are available to us and they do slightly different things. Most of them were developed before the X39 patches, but this one is the pinnacle of David's research and it is the one that does pretty much everything. We also advise you drink plenty of water, really important to help your cells communicate with them, with themselves and each other, and also to help flush the toxins out. And also it is important to drink or take electrolytes when you drink your water too. So we have a 90-day protocol recommendation, and that is because, it takes for many people a little bit longer than a few minutes. We do see people that get results in weeks, days, hours, minutes, and sometimes seconds. Okay. For me, it was much longer than that, but I have seen one patch wonders. Okay. Unfortunately, we're not all like that, and our body's not all built the same way. The causes of certain conditions are often quite different. And the most common reason for any lack of response to the patches is dehydration. Lack of hydration will reduce the effectiveness of the patches, so it's really important to drink enough water before and during using the patch. And also, as I said earlier, try adding electrolytes too. This just makes sure that your body has all the building blocks it needs to get the job done. And here we go again with this website. Thisisit.info.com. Please write that down or take a picture, screenshot, whatever you like. It's a fantastic information website. It's got the patents in there. It's got interviews with doctors, interviews with David Schmidt. It's got all the information you need about the patches. There are testimonials on there from various people as well. You can lose yourself in there for about a week. But, if you like to know the wheres and why-fors, that is where you go. Thisisit.info.com. So the X39 patch, it's so sophisticated yet simple to explain. And the testimonies of X39 are both life-changing and often very, very emotional. And the best thing about the X39 patch is it absolutely works. So we're going to have a little bit of testimonial sharing right now. I'm going to tell you just a tiny bit about me. I came into this company just over 14 months ago. I'm a dog walker and home boarder who couldn't walk. I'd absolutely crooked up my hips and I was hobbling about like an old granny. By the end of my day dog walking, I was in so much pain. If I needed to go shopping, I was holding onto the trolley like it was a Zimmer frame, often not completing the shop and leaving because, I just couldn't do it. I was going up and down the stairs. I've got a 3-bed semi. I was going up and down the stairs on all fours and thinking I was going to have to buy a bungalow and give up my dog boarding business that I'd spent a lot of money building up and developing. I was having steroid injections every 6 months with the great big horse needle right into my hip, where I'd partially torn the greater trochanter tendon, and I had bursitis in both hips too. I didn't enjoy those injections. They were a bit ouchy, I'll be honest. And I really, really struggled with the idea of having more. I'd had 3. I was due another one in June of last year, not this year, and I didn't want to go. And the rest of the time I was living on painkillers, which were making me ill in other ways as well. And then I happened to see my friend Inez posting about these patches on Facebook, and she was using them on herself and her husband. But what made my little ears prick up was she was using them on her rescue dogs. And if people are using something on animals, to me, that means there's no placebo because animals don't know what you're doing. If it fixes them, it's got to actually work. So I pestered her for some info and I ordered the patches. She said there was a 30-day money back guarantee. So I thought, great. After 30 days, if they're rubbish, they're going straight back and I'll tell her what they think. So whilst I was waiting for my patches to arrive, I watched loads of videos, loads of information. My patches turned up. I immediately stopped taking my painkillers, put my first patch on, and nothing happened. I was gutted. But I knew there was a good chance that I wasn't going to be a one-patch wonder. So I just stuck with it, patched every day. And over the next 2 weeks, my pain levels gradually started to incrementally come down. Considering I'd stopped taking painkillers, it should have done the other thing, but it didn't. And then the next 2 weeks, it came down a bit more. The next 2 weeks, a bit more. By the time I'd been using the patches for 2 months, the pain had completely gone. There was no painkillers, no more steroid injections, and no pain, which was wonderful. And then lots of other things happened as well. My hair went a bit crazy, my skin's improved. People keep telling me, I'm not sure how many times this month people have told me that haven't seen me for a while, my God, what is going on? You look so much younger. What are you doing? What are you on? I'm happier, my moods are better, the menopause stuff. Yeah, I was very combustible. Shall we say, those mood swings have gone. It's absolutely brilliant, but I love the fact that I get all these messages from all these people almost on a daily basis telling me what has happened for them and what has changed. And some of those people are actually on the call tonight. So, do we have a volunteer for a testimonial, please? Laura. Throwing you under the bus, Laura.
You come to me.
I am,
Okay.
darling.
So I've been on them since the 9th of June last year, so just over a year now. I found myself in a very dark place after a foster placement moved on, and I had an injured knee, spondylitis and sciatica, and also suffering with lots of perimenopausal symptoms after years and years of PCOS. So I was sort of like a walking, rattly old person too quickly, to be fair. And I had a phone call from Val. She said, you need to come around and see me. And I was very, very skeptical. Wasn't really interested, but she anyway twisted my arm, sent me away with 5 patches, and I patched the next morning, which was a Monday morning, and no word of a lie, by lunchtime I was jumping around my front room, phoning her up, dancing, going, what on earth is in this? My energy levels went through the roof, my brain fog cleared, all my menopausal symptoms went away. And within 2 months, I'd noticed that all my aches and pains had gone as well. A little bit later on, I then noticed that I used to suffer with pins and needles in my hands at night, and that went away too. Then I started looking at my skin, going, look how amazing my skin is, and my hair. Well, I have to tie it up because it's just in the way. It's just getting longer and longer. But what I love the most is being able to help other people become better versions of themselves and giving people their lives back. So I'm forever grateful for this.
Oh, bless you. And I have to say, she sent me a video dancing around the lounge. I was in hysterics because Laura was in a very dark place, and I was so pleased that her turnaround was so fast. It was amazing to watch. Would somebody else like to share? Pat, I think I think I'm going to nominate Pat next because Pat, your testimonial is something to behold.
I don't like being volunteered for anything, Val.
I know.
I'll always happily volunteer, right? But people get fed up with hearing my story. So
I can't think who I was possibly thinking about when I said some people take longer to mature either.
yeah, that's
Grow up, Pat.
Listen,
never going to happen.
Listen, that isn't ever going to happen, and you know that. Who wants to be old? Certainly not me. Yeah. Anyway, my testimonial starts when I was about 18, 19 years old, when I started to develop very severe lower back pain, sort of pain to one degree or another every single day. In my 30s, I was diagnosed with chronic spinal degeneration and told really that there wasn't a great deal I could do about it. My discs, 2 of my lumbar discs were more like pumice stones than sponges, and basically dried out, and things got progressively worse. In 2016, I had oh God, what did I have? I had a back spasm. Yeah, I had a back
You've had
spasm.
lots of things.
These patches do nothing for your memory. Absolutely nothing. I had a back spasm that left me paralyzed from the waist at a 90-degree angle, taken into hospital. I was in there for 72 hours where they straightened me out. But when I came out, I was left with a numb sensation all the way down my right leg, from my hip to my ankle. They couldn't diagnose what it was, despite MRIs, X-rays, and everything else. They even stuck a needle that was about that long into me and shoved an electric charge down into my leg to see if there was some kind of response, and there was no response there at all. Much like me listening to my wife. So yeah, moving swiftly on. I had all sorts of painkillers and stuff. Nothing worked. So I decided that I wanted to take a more holistic approach and started self-medicating with CBD, which worked to a degree. But I gradually found that as I became tolerant of the CBD, I was having to increase the THC element. So as a consequence, I wasn't getting high at night. I could sleep, but for the first 3 hours of the following day, I was barely able to function. So that wasn't necessarily a great idea for long-term use. In 2019, my chiropractor did some more MRIs, more X-rays, and we went a bit more in depth to it. And he said, basically, your problem is that you have an unnatural curvature of the cervical vertebra, and your spinal column is gradually closing on a nerve. And he said, in 5 to 7 years, you will be in a wheelchair. So I said, okay, that's great. At least we know about it now. What can we do about it? So he said, well, not really very much. There is a surgical procedure that you can have. It is dangerous. It's expensive, very painful, and there's no guarantee of success. So there's a possibility you might end up in a wheelchair anyway. I decided not to take that risk. And I was on a sort of gradual downhill trend. And in 2023, it looked as if his prediction was going to come true. I'd also developed chronic long-term arthritis in my ankles, knees, and hips. I was walking like a crab crossed with Quasimodo. I'd become fairly agoraphobic. I didn't really like leaving the house. Number one, because I couldn't walk very far, and number two, because I was in quite a lot of pain. My wife was one of these mysterious one-patch wonders that everybody dreams of being. Our dear friend who is on the call, Julie, had introduced my wife to these patches a couple of weeks before, or a month or so before. And my wife had been quite secretive about it, but I spotted them on the sideboard. And I thought, oh my God, what on earth has she spent her money on now? So she told me a little bit. Oh God, here we go. So she was a one-patch wonder. And literally it was a sort of healing hands-on moment. It was an epiphany moment. And she said, okay, that's it. We're starting to patch you. So I said, all right, okay, what have I got to lose? So she was slapping patches on me left, right, and center, and then looking at me every half an hour to an hour or so saying, has it worked yet? No. Has it worked yet? No. No, no, no. So I'm thinking to myself, obviously I'm one of these people they don't work on. Now I drink a lot of water, right? Everybody's saying, or she kept saying to me, you need to drink lots of water. Yeah, but I drink lots of water anyway. But nothing had happened until day 7. And this is where I started to understand that the body will heal where the body think it needs to heal. Because in 2001, I had my gallbladder removed. Not particularly life-threatening or anything like that, but certainly life-changing. Because every time you put any form of fat in there, and that can be milk, it can be olive oil, it can be just any kind of fat, right? It comes out the other end like Niagara Falls. So I had been managing that with a fiber tablet, which was no longer available in Spain until about 5 years earlier. But every time we went to a restaurant, the first thing I'd do was go and check out the facilities before checking out the menu. Long distance or any kind of distance travel was planned with military precision. And as I say, not life-threatening, but certainly life change, certainly life having to adjust your life around it. I started to firm up. Instead of being 10 minutes after my breakfast in the morning and this sense of I have to be in the bathroom, it was a more natural 2 hours or so, I guess. Still quite soft, but not liquid, no longer Niagara Falls. By day 10, I was a log flume, and they were coming out in nice little parcels the way God intended. So much so that I was sending WhatsApp messages to my wife when she went out, firm, firmer, firmer still, firmer still. And that's continued to this day, except one occasion when I tested it and I overdid it on the cheese, the fat, the ice cream, the cream, and everything else over Christmas. And the next day I had a recurrence. So I know that I have to I still have to think about what I take in. As to the arthritis in my knees, the pain in my back, it still hadn't completely, it was starting to move slowly, but not anything dramatic. But we did some research into some of the other patches that the company manufactures and came across a patch called Eon, which was my game changer, real game changer, because it works on inflammation. And we worked out, or we spoke to our upline in South Africa, and she said, what you need to think of is that if you start to remove the inflammation or reduce the inflammation, it will allow the X39 stem cell patches to work better in your recovery. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened, because it was March the 21st last year that I was able to actually walk like that, one foot in front of the other forwards, up a flight of about 18 steps, which that was up to our pool, up to our swimming pool, which I hadn't been able to do for 5 years. Things have just gone on to get better and better and better. I'm 68 in about 3 weeks' time. I feel as if I'm about 50. And probably this time next year, I'll feel as if I'm about 40, because I'm doing some bloody stupid things that I shouldn't really be doing, like climbing trees in the garden to cut down branches. Now, when I couldn't walk, and where I've come from, for me is phenomenal. It's remarkable. I'll be using these for the rest of my life because they have saved my life. And I guess the one thing, my wife has her husband back because I think that she thought she'd lost me. And I found that out from a Facebook post that she put up on during the 24th last year. So thank you, Lifewave. I'll be eternally grateful to David Schmidt. I will be eternally grateful to Julie, who introduced it, despite what I say to you, Jules. I'll be eternally grateful to Julie. These things are amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Pat, it's fantastic, honestly.
He was out gardening all weekend again.
Wow.
Yeah. I took up pictures with his hat and everything.
And she wasn't even sulking. You know, when I went out 6 weeks ago, I'd gone out to escape her sulk. Yeah, she wasn't sulking.
No,
I just went out there and got on with it.
Brilliant. Were you faking a sulkiness?
I wasn't moving off the sofa. I said, it's Sunday.
Oh dear. No, the funny thing is, Pat, you used to say to me that your testimonial wasn't remarkable, but you should be in a wheelchair.
Oh, it really is.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was definitely heading that way. You know,
Yeah.
I haven't thrown them away yet, but I have a range of back braces and corsets.
You showed us the other week.
And
I
a
know.
range of different knee supports.
Crazy.
For both sides, you know.
Yeah.
They've not got in the bin yet. I nearly did it, but I haven't done it yet because it's my crutch. I kind of work on the basis that if they're there, then I won't need them. A bit like taking an umbrella out.
Yeah. But being able to get on a plane and come back over to England.
Yeah. I hadn't been able.
It's just
for over 9 years.
It's fantastic.
And we're looking forward to getting, September, and we're starting to make plans for travels and things.
Yeah.
We can now.
Yeah,
wonderful.
Whereas it would have been him in a wheelchair, me being the carer, and life really wouldn't have been very much.
We've kind of digressed off my testimonial, which is the
Yeah.
thing that I really get upset about.
Well, that's the
When
only thing.
people digress off their testimonial, I get really upset. So I'm sorry about that, Val.
Oh dear.
Back to you.
Love it. Listen, we'll hand over to
Jules.
Jules. Thank you so much for coming in, Laura and Pat, with your testimonials. Really appreciate it. They were absolutely fantastic as always. Jules, take it away. It's all yours.
Thank you. Oh, thank you guys for those fantastic testimonials, and they really are life-changing, as you can see, and very emotional too. And thank you, Val, for that fantastic presentation. So there is actually a business opportunity behind these patches, which is absolutely incredible. So I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about the business and the company itself. So first of all, what is the most important thing in your life? What has brought you here this evening? Is it that you want to spend more time with your family or have more time freedom? Or maybe you want financial security, or to be able to travel more, or better health, or less debt, or all of these. Well, Lifewave can help with all of these, whether it's through the patch itself or the business opportunity. So Lifewave itself has been going for over 20 years now, and it went from a $20 million company in 2021 to $320 million company in 2022. And that's absolutely incredible growth there. And that was because the X39 patch was introduced, and the team that we're all a part of, This Is It team, really hit the ground running with this patch and just got it everywhere basically. And we've just grown from strength to strength since then. So in 2023, we had sales of $430 million. And last year we had sales of $600 million. And this year, guys, we are heading towards 1 billion, which is absolutely incredible. We're open in over 75 countries, which shows that it's a really international product. And the great thing about it is that it's not a Me Too product. So this patch has no competition out there. It's not like the weight loss or skincare or supplement companies where you do have a lot of competition out there. We are really unique and out there on our own, you know, and we haven't got that competition to worry about for a very long time, because obviously we're backed by all the patents. Okay, so Lifewave has actually been ranked #1 momentum company 2 years running. So you can see there the growth has absolutely been incredible. 3,000% growth from 2018 to 2024. So amazing growth there. But also the great thing about it is that we are part of the This Is It team, which is actually the fastest growing team in the business as well. So we're definitely in the right place at the right time. So if you're interested, what is your next step? So there are different buying options. If you want to just become a customer, you can get your patches for $149.95 so that you could get a sleeve of X39 for that. If you wanted to go for the wholesale price, then you can become either a preferred customer where you'll pay $99.95 a month, or you can go for the preferred customer plus where you will also pay the wholesale price, which is $99.95, but you'd also pay a $25 fee, and that just ensures that you can get little samples along the way throughout the year of different patches to try. So lots of little benefits and perks to that one. But what I would recommend to most people is to go for the brand partner option. This means that you're still going to get the wholesale price, but you also have the opportunity to do the business as well, which is amazing because, you know, once you actually experience the benefits of these patches, you can't help but share it with everybody. And these are the different options if you do want to become a brand partner. So you could either go for a core package, which is $295 and you get 3 sleeves of X39 with that. So a sleeve is a month's supply, which is 30 patches. So great if you just want to try the patches yourself or maybe share with your loved one. If you want to kind of get more stuck into the business, then the advanced pack is better because obviously you're getting 6 sleeves of X39 and it's a price of $535. Now this is great again if you just want to try the patches, or share them with a loved one, or maybe you want to sell to some potential customers. But if you really want to hit the ground running with the business and you're a serious entrepreneur, then I would recommend the premium pack, which is $1,750 but you actually get 20 sleeves of X39 there. So that's loads of different sleeves to obviously try yourself, but also to help build your business and to sell to customers as well. So the choice is yours there, depending on what you want out of this business. So there are several different ways to earn with Lifewave. At the moment, we have 5 ways to earn. In a few weeks' time, we'll actually have 9 ways to earn, because we've got a few little enhancements going on with the compensation plan. So I'll talk you through the first 5 at the moment. So we have the retail bonus. Now, this basically is your profit from when you buy in at wholesale price and sell out at retail price. We also have the introduction bonus. This is when you introduce new members, so a little bonus for that. Cycle bonuses are amazing because you can actually earn off your whole organisation there. And then the matching bonus is great because you can actually earn off just like a little thank you from Lifewave for helping you build your team. And we also have member incentives. So these are incredible. We get loads of rewards and different prizes along the way. But the best thing are the trips. And there's an amazing trip coming up, which we're all going for, to the Bahamas. So, I mean, they are no expense spared, guys, and really worth trying to qualify for. So the compensation plan is second to none, and it's so simple to understand, really. So we just work with the binary system, which means that you build one team on your left, one team on your right. Now, if you introduce 2 people on your left and 2 people on your right, then you can become the rank of manager. And this is where all the bonuses start to open up to you. So you can actually earn up to $25,000 a week from the binary, which is just incredible, guys. And yes, we do get paid weekly. And it is fantastic how quickly these weeks come around. But not only that, we also have the matching bonus. This is the one where you're just sent a little bonus from Lifewave to say thank you for introducing people into your team and training them up. So you can actually earn off 3 levels deep at the moment with this bonus. So that means that the people that you've introduced, you can actually earn 25% off their bonus. So if their bonus was, say, $1,000 for the week, then you would get $250 of that. That doesn't come out of their bonus, it actually comes direct from Lifewave, so everybody's a winner there. Now, not only that, we can also earn off the people that they introduce into Lifewave, and then the people that the second line introduce, which is your third line. You can earn 20% off both the second and third line. So as you can see, before you know it, your team is really building, but also your profit is building, and it becomes very lucrative. So as Val mentioned earlier, there's the fantastic website called thisisinfo.com. If you want to write these down, you can do, guys, or take a screenshot. So that particular one is more for the kind of patches themselves, looking into the science behind the patches and any clinical studies. If you want to look more into the business or the compensation plan, then head towards thisisitteam.com. Again, it's absolutely packed full of information, loads of videos, and as Val said, you can get lost in them for about a week because there's just so much information there. So that's a really good place for you to do your research. So as David Schmidt himself said, you have an incredible opportunity before you today, the opportunity to bring the healing power of light to everyone around you. And what a great opportunity that is. And just think how many people we can help with this amazing patch. So the time is now to make your move. So if you're serious about your dream, then this is hope for the future, guys. All you have to do is get patched, try the X39, feel the benefits, and just share with everybody. And as I say, you can't help but share these amazing results with people. So basically, if you really enjoyed this presentation and you'd really like to get stuck in, then go back to the person that shared this opportunity with you and they can talk you through the different options. And we look forward to welcoming you into our team soon. So thank you guys for listening to this presentation. I'm going to stop sharing now and we will stop recording. And then